Tonight, I went down the dark side of TikTok and what I found will blow your mind. Welcome back, family. Before the video starts, I just want to thank all my channel members for the support. Subscribe, join the family. We are like 8,000 off of 100K. Let's go.
Animals look without fur. Husky. Owl. Bear. Hamster. Raccoon. Squirrel.
In my opinion, the owl and the raccoon look the craziest.
If there were one place you'd want to be during a rock slide, this would be that place. The video that you guys just watched shows a person driving along a mountainside highway when out of nowhere an alarm starts blaring. They then drive under what appears to be a tunnel and a rock slide comes through. However, this is not just a lucky placed tunnel, this is designed for this type of situation. It's something known as a rock shed. To give you guys a better visual as to what a large rock shed might look like, here is a perfect example. We can see how the road appears to go into the mountainside, not so much like a tunnel though, because this side is bare. These are built on roads where landslides and rock slides are common and cause road closures, and it's a way to divert that flow of debris down the mountain without impacting the road. In this case, it served as a perfect area to take cover during this landslide, and it really did get extreme by the end of the video. This is what the dash cam looked like, almost pitch black. So not only are these super useful, but they do look pretty aesthetically pleasing in my opinion, and if you're on a highway with one of these, keep an eye out for falling rocks.
Curious how car brakes really work. I've seen movies where the bad guy cuts the brake line and the pedal flops to the floor, but is it really that easy? In most cars the pedal isn't connected to a simple cable like on a bicycle. It's actually two separate tubes of liquid called a dual circuit hydraulic system. This system is a force multiplier, and when you push the pedal you push in a tiny bit of special brake fluid in a tube which can't be compressed, and this force is a massive amount of pressure to come out at the wheels, squeezing the brake pads against the spinning disc incredibly hard. That force multiplier is the only reason your foot is strong enough to stop a 2-ton car moving at highway speed. So the myth about one single cut killing all the brakes is totally false. That dual circuit system is a safety feature, so even if one line is cut, you'll still have the other pair of wheels left to get the car completely stopped.
This video of Vladimir Putin is going viral right now on Twitter because of the comments that pointed out something that nobody really noticed. Now, at first this video was made to like glorify, like, look, like Putin, man, he's chill, like he's respectful, like he like helps a sick kid out in a minute here, like he's a chill guy. There's no allegations of him the way there are about some of our politicians that may have been to certain islands and all that. Like Putin does seem like a chill guy. But then you have people wondering what the heck is going on in Ukraine with Russia. Russia thinks that big part of Ukraine is theirs, whereas Ukraine says, no, it's Slava Ukraini. You know, they want Ukraine for Ukrainians. Russia says it's our land. My question is, why in gosh darn's name would Ukraine think it has a chance at defeating Russia? It is gigantic. They have way more GDP. They got way more people. I mean, they're just throwing them into a freaking meat grinder with no chance of winning that war. Unless it's not about winning and it's about George Orwell 1984, which is there always has to be a conflict to basically keep people under control and fearmonger the populace. Now, what if the Russia-Ukraine thing ends up with the United States backing Ukraine, Canada backing Ukraine, the UK backing Ukraine, and China and India and Taiwan or something backing Russia? Then we're talking about a world war, which is said to be the war to end all wars and to radically change the way our whole freaking world works. Now, if you read anything about this and you heard about this in the past, there's a plan to make a one world government, right? But to get there, you probably would have to dismantle the current existence of governments to make a new one, right? This is what they do. Pull down the old, bring in the new. This is what they've done many, many times. So we'll have to keep our head on a swivel and see what happens next. The other crazy thing about him is that the Russian military secretly studied this compound for 40 years, and it's a rumor that he still takes this stuff, which the Russian military secretly studied. That's a superfood. We're talking about the Shilajit.
We've seen time and time again where countries that were like the underdog won world wars or just won wars. When the United States was fighting for independence against the UK, we were the underdog.
This girl on TikTok might have conjured spirits on herself and she didn't even realize. I don't know if you've ever seen this girl on TikTok. I'm pretty sure her name on TikTok goes by the Clean Girl. Her whole TikTok is that she'll go to cemeteries and she'll clean graves and stuff.
I've seen this girl before.
Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard nothing about what you're about to tell me, but I've seen this girl, bro. I always thought that shit was freaky.
So for the longest time, I don't know exactly how long she's been doing this, but she's been doing it for a minute. She will go to cemeteries, clean graves, look at the person's obituary of the grave she's cleaning, kind of talk about them or whatever. Recently though, some people think that she might have stepped out of line a little bit.
Right.
She's seen a kid's grave that had teddy bears on the side of it.
She moved it.
She grabbed the teddy bears, took them home, and cleaned them at her house to make them look brand new.
Oh no.
Which I guess on paper or when you first see it, it kind of seem like a good thing, but a lot of people are saying that a lot of spirits would go into objects like that.
Yeah.
So her taking them to her house was kind of inviting them into her own home. After she did that, a lot of people started noticing weird things started happening in her videos at the cemeteries.
Really?
And one, while she's talking, there's a flower inside like a flower pot, and it literally looks like the flower almost jumps out of the flower pot or like falls out of the flower pot, which I'm gonna lie, I don't think that could ever just happen on its own. And then there's another one. This one I think is the most like, okay, she has a shovel that's stuck in the dirt, and you see the shovel start to like lean over and move around and stuff by itself. I don't think that shovel should be moving like that.
9 times out of 10, when you go and dig a shovel in like that, it usually doesn't fall forward.
Yes.
I'm just being honest, bro. This went forward though and stayed.
Yes. And like I said, ever since then, she kind of stopped making videos like this. So a lot of people think that she started noticing stuff in her own personal life that was happening to her that made her want to stop making content like this.
I feel like a lot of people were just hating on her. They were like, yo, what are you doing? Like, just leave the people be. And then that's why she kind of stopped.
Here we can see Mr. Beast throwing up the devil signs as he announces his partnership with the Rockefeller Foundation. Let's have a little listen here.
Hi, I'm Rod Shaw, president of the Rockefeller Foundation. I'm here today with Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast. We're going to take that to the next level together, and we couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
All right, look, I'd just like to start out by saying you don't get to the level of fame that Mr. Beast does in this world. You're not trending on YouTube every single day unless you signed on the dotted line, unless you're a part of the globalist satanic agenda. I mean, they must just think that the world is stupid because they're constantly throwing up this symbolism in our faces to let us know who they are and what they represent. I mean, the dude's name is literally Mr. Beast. It's like Monster Energy when it's like Unleash the Beast. These symbols in Hebrew, they're 6s, 666, Monster Energy, Unleash the Beast. These things are done on purpose to let you know, again, who they are. And only the ones with the eyes to see can see. If you guys watch people like this, maybe stop because they're not for humanity, I promise you that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and follow for more hidden truth. Peace and love.
I'm not gonna lie, I think bro is definitely being a little bit dramatic. I feel like Mr. Beast, like if you look at him, he looked kind of awkward. So I think he was just doing random things with his hands to make it less awkward.
Why should you always keep your distance from fuel tankers on the road? Inside a tanker, the liquid is separated by multiple hollow baffles. Without these partitions, the fuel would slosh around violently while the truck is moving, creating a wave effect. The force from the sloshing can be several times greater than the liquid's own weight. In situations like sudden braking or sharp turns, this makes the tanker extremely prone to tipping over. To reduce the impact of the wave effect, engineers add several baffles inside the tank. These partitions help slow down the overall movement of the liquid, improving stability. But that doesn't mean the tanker is completely safe. The baffles mainly reduce front to back movement, but they can't stop sideways sloshing, which is still highly dangerous. On top of that, once filled, tankers have a much higher center of gravity, making them more
passenger car has a rollover threshold of about 1.2 G, while a fuel tanker's threshold is only 0.4 G, 3 times lower. So whenever you see a tanker truck on the road, keep a safe distance. And especially on curves, never drive side by side with one for too long.
She thought it was her dog down there, but as she goes to see what it is, she finds this. A woman named Casey was taking her dog out when she noticed Rocky began acting strange, staring into the woods. Not seeing anyone down there, she records her usual routine and waits for him to go down. But what Casey didn't realize is that something unexplicable was about to happen.
Okay, Rocky, come on. There you go. Look, I got the light. There you go. There you are. Come on. Rocky, where'd you go?
Casey watches Rocky go down the stairs hesitantly, as if something's down there, when all of a sudden, Rocky's gone. She calls out to him and looks around, yet there's no signs of movement. Casey then decides to go down there herself and find Rocky when this happens.
Come on, dude. Rocky? The hell? Is it a cat? Rocky? What are you doing up there? I thought you were down here. Rocky! Silly goose.
She hears the cat in the distance, then finds Rocky is now inside. Casey didn't think much of it, but what's strangest about all of this? If Rocky's upstairs, how did he get there if Casey was blocking the stairs this whole time? Rocky seems to be acting very odd, making this whole situation much weirder. Given we saw Rocky leave, then mysteriously appear upstairs like if nothing had happened, could it be that somehow that's not her dog anymore? Or is there a simpler explanation to all of this?
Yeah, the obvious answer. He teleported.
Welcome to Cracker Barrel. Y'all come on in and make yourselves cozy. We got some good fixings cooking up for you. Would you just look at this grub right here? Home-cooked meatloaf, y'all. It don't get much better than this. Y'all love a good, old-fashioned home-cooked meal, right? We ain't got no meatloaf in bags cooking her in the microwave. Y'all think it's easy cooking all this food for all these people every day? Ha ha! It's like giving slop to pigs. All y'all talking about how hard our biscuits are. These things are soft and fluffy, y'all crazy? Well, thanks for stopping by, y'all. These new age folks are taking over. Ha ha! Thought they could just get rid of me. Well, I ain't going nowhere. It weren't always like this, you know. There was a time when the sun shone brighter. See y'all around.
Lucky I didn't include the sound.
Ho ho ho! First off, I want to say I'm sorry for making you watch that, but you should be thanking me for not including the sound. It makes it that much more gut-wrenching. Tell you what, Instagram has really been on a hot streak lately with serving up the most ridiculous videos. This one shows a guy using a toenail clipper on his teeth, just chipping away for likes. One squeeze, 10,000 views. Not really worth it if you ask me. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the anatomy of a tooth, the outer layer that's white is known as the enamel. There are no nerves here, so this presumably is not going to be painful if you chip it. On average here, the thickness of the enamel on the tip of your incisors, which are your front teeth, is around 1.24 millimeters. So this guy has a tiny bit of leeway. He can afford a few chips in here without it hurting too much, but still, why do this in the first place, man? You can only do this once, safely, and now you're gonna have to go to the dentist. I hope this guy stitches this video and shows some fake denture implants or something like that. Otherwise, dude, what are we doing?
No amount of money would ever get me to do something that stupid.
2006, a teenage girl named Cassie was house sitting for her aunt when her boyfriend Matt and two classmates, Brian and Tori, came over to keep her company. The four of them hung out for a while, and Cassie gave them a quick tour of the home. Unbeknownst to her, Brian quietly unlocked the basement door before leaving, setting in motion a dark and deliberate plan. Later that night, Brian and Tori returned, dressed in black and wearing masks. They slipped through the unlocked door, intent on scaring Cassie. They began making loud noises in the basement, hoping to draw her down. When she didn't come downstairs, they cut the power, expecting her curiosity to get the better of her. But Cassie, now nervous and uneasy, chose to stay upstairs. Frustrated that things weren't going as planned, the boys restored some of the lights to avoid drawing attention. Cassie grew more on edge when one of the dogs started growling toward the basement. Matt, sensing how frightened she was, offered to spend the night, but his mother insisted he come home. Now alone, Cassie had no idea that danger was closing in. After Matt left, Brian and Tori cut the power again, and when Cassie still didn't investigate, they decided to act. Armed with knives, they crept upstairs and launched a vicious attack, stabbing her multiple times before fleeing. During the investigation, police uncovered disturbing evidence, a video recorded by Brian and Tori before the murder. In it, they spoke excitedly about their plan to kill, revealing they were inspired by the horror film Scream.
Faces you have to see. A black Chinese man. Marshmallow face. Kenny without hoodie. The Masked Magician. Dream face. Miss Sarah Bellum.
Oddest couples you won't believe exist. Erica Eiffel. She got married to the Eiffel Tower. Amy Wolf. She got married to a roller coaster ride. Liu Yi. He got married to himself. Amanda Rogers. She got married to her dog. Bimbola Das. She got married to a king cobra snake. Helen Shobungu. She is 62 and got married to a 9-year-old boy.
Dude, if the roles were reversed, that would be breaking news across every country.
Nobody ever talks about how devastating the 2014 blizzard of Buffalo really was. It's one of the most extreme lake effect snow events ever recorded in US history. It was late in the evening on November 17th when an intense band of snow formed right over Lake Erie, moving directly into South Buffalo overnight. The following day, people awoke to find that they were snowed into their homes as snow fell at rates of 5 to 7 inches per hour. Many people reported having to dig their way out through the second-story windows of their homes. And by the end of the storm on November 22nd, the suburban areas of Buffalo had received about 88 inches of snowfall, totaling over 7 feet. Travel advisories were put in place, driving was restricted, and the New York Thruway was shut down because most roads became impassable within an hour. There were, of course, already people on the highway who had gotten caught in the storm and who had now come to a standstill. Many drivers and their families had to sleep in their cars for over 24 hours, some without heat after their cars cars ran out of gas. First responders and ambulances couldn't get to anyone, and snowplows were working around the clock to try to keep up as best as they could, but they just couldn't move fast enough. 16 people died during this blizzard. Several of those deaths were caused from medical emergencies because they couldn't be reached in time. A few of them had passed away from heart attacks while out shoveling the heavy snow, and others were attributed to people being trapped underneath the snow. It was estimated that 300 roofs collapsed, including people's homes, buildings, and even barns, taking out some people's entire herd of livestock. Once the snow had finally stopped, officials discovered hundreds of cars completely buried that they had no idea were even there. Some with people still inside who couldn't call for help. Several victims died from exposure or from being trapped. And the disaster only got worse as temperatures suddenly rose. Right after this historic snowfall, the temperature rapidly shot up to the 50s and 60s, causing mass flooding, sewage backups, ice jams, and unfortunately, a second wave of emergency evacuations. Some neighborhoods ended up flooded with contaminated water because storm drains were blocked with ice. Even after the floodwater subsided, most people couldn't return home because their homes were now infested with mold or had sewer water throughout.
I'm curious why these camels have humps. We've all heard the myth that they're giant water tanks, but the truth is that a camel's hump isn't filled with water. It's actually a massive storage of deeply concentrated fat, which can weigh up to a staggering 80 pounds. When food is scarce, the camel's body metabolizes this fat, kinda like a bear, allowing it to survive for weeks without eating. As the fat is used, the hump will shrink and even flop over. But here's the real chemical secret: this fat is also an indirect source of water. When the camel's body breaks down the fat for energy, a metabolic process actually produces water molecules as a byproduct. So in a way, the hump is a water source, but it's stored as solid fuel, not as a liquid. However, the true genius of the hump's design is for staying cool by concentrating almost all its body fat on its back. The rest of the camel's body remains lean and can dissipate heat easily. If that fat were an even layer of insulation covering its whole body, the camel would quickly overheat in the extreme desert heat. The hump acts like an insulation backpack, keeping the sun off its back while allowing the rest of its body to cool down.
Candace Owens is single-handedly solving the Charlie Kirk assassination. Now, one of the license plates from one of the rental cars that was waiting for the Egyptian military plane at Salt Lake City Airport has been caught on Utah DOT camera on University Parkway, just 1.2 miles from the UVU campus, 25 minutes before the shots rang out. According to Project Constitution, the Arizona license plate CWN872 was not found on a white Camry, but instead was caught on camera on a black Tahoe. Which is interesting considering the Ring camera footage of Tyler Robinson walking through a neighborhood towards UVU shows him being followed by none other than a black Tahoe. And according to ChatGPT, it's important to note that intelligence agencies do use rental cars because they are untraceable to individual agents. And they are known to swap out license plates in covert operations. One of the most notable recent publicly verified cases of intelligence swapping out plates is from 2010, the Dubai assassination. It's important to note that because the Utah DOT camera caught this license plate on a different vehicle, it could be a false hit. But if not, this could be a serious sign of guilt. Candace provided us with 4 different vehicles with 4 different license plates. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if any others come up near the UVU campus on September 10th. So, do you think this is a false hit, or do you think something very fishy is going on? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
If Candace Owens keep going into this rabbit hole and exposing these things, she might be next.
Jobs that no longer exist. Knocker-upper. Switchboard operator.
Connecting you to extension 3902. 1 moment.
Ice cutter. Milkman. Elevator operator. Rat catcher. Town crier. Whistle boy. Lamplighter.
You know what modern job no longer kind of exists, at least in the US? Toll operators.
This was no accident. This was a stunt that was set up, done on purpose, but it did result in a big accident, this guy losing his life. The video that you guys just watched is clearly quite old. It shows a man hunched down, focused on a jet ski, traveling towards a waterfall, and once he gets to the edge, he doesn't slow down, he just barrels right over. This was all part of a stunt done to bring awareness to homelessness by a 39-year-old daredevil from California, Robert Overacker. Robert decided that for his cause, he was going to go to Niagara Falls, which is very famous for being large and dangerous, and ride a jet ski off the end of the falls wearing a parachute that was rocket propelled, which would launch him up and he would float safely down. This is not at all what happened though. As soon as he went over, the parachute failed to deploy, meaning he fell 51 meters down into the water below, where he lost his life and was pronounced dead later at a hospital. Since this incident in 1995, 6 other people have gone over the falls, 2 of which have resulted in the loss of life as well. So it doesn't look like this is going to stop, no matter how many people lose their lives.
Imagine being a full-grown adult and believing what you're about to see right now. Just watch this.
Pair of scissors, and I made my crew shirt into a real musician didgeridoos kind of attire. And so I can play my didgeridoo now.
Like, bro, I need you guys to understand something very obvious. They are laughing in your face. They're literally doing these things and then they're looking back at it and they're like, I can't believe that people actually buy this. And then they're laughing at all the peons that saw this and they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. He actually just, created a didgeridoo out of his suit with scissors and played it perfectly. Like, you guys are dumb. NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. That's what they're doing. Always been doing, and stealing your tax money. Space is fake. It's not real. There's a firmament above us. The earth is flat. Wake the fuck up. Stop being a sheep, and you'll live a beautiful life. I promise. Peace and love.
Yo, this guy is hilarious. Bro just said, literally just believe everything I tell you and your life will be so much better. Screw what you think. Screw what they told you. Screw what you believe. Believe what I believe.
Michael Packard might be the luckiest or unluckiest person alive. On the morning of June 11th, 2021, Michael, who was 57 years old at the time, hopped in a boat with his longtime diving partner, Josiah. They took off and headed for the open waters right off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where they planned to do some lobster diving. Once they reached this spot right off the coast, Michael put on all of his scuba diving equipment and hopped in the water. Josiah did not put on any diving equipment because he was not going to be getting in the water for this dive. And so just after 6 a.m., once Michael was in the water and signaled he was good to go, he dove down below, and after a little while, he came back up, but with a relatively small haul of lobsters. For the next couple of hours, Michael continued to go down and catch as many lobsters as he possibly could. By 8 a.m., Michael had captured approximately 100 pounds of lobsters that were now in the boat. And so Michael decided he would go back down one more time and try to get just a few more lobsters before they called it a day. And then all of a sudden, this eruption of white water came rushing up to the surface right where Michael had gone down below. After Michael had broken the surface on this final dive down to get more lobsters, he felt something smash into him from behind, and then everything around him went totally pitch black. The impact of whatever it was that hit him had caused his mouthpiece to get blown out of his mouth, so he doesn't doesn't have air and he starts fumbling around to find his mouthpiece. His hands are making contact with what feels like walls all around him. He was inside of an enclosed space. But when he had touched these walls, they were not normal walls. They were soft, but they were hard at the same time, and they seemed to be moving, like they were pulsating or quivering. The space he was in was fairly large, and it was not completely flooded with water. He started to notice intense pressure on his legs. Finally, Michael found the line that was connected to his mouthpiece. He jammed it in his mouth, and he took a long inhale, and that's when it dawned on him. He had been swallowed by a whale. For nearly 45 seconds, Michael was trapped inside the closed mouth of a humpback whale. They only eat small fish. So when this particular whale realized Michael was not a tiny fish, it began violently swinging its head side to side to try to dislodge Michael. Michael was spat out of this whale's mouth. Michael made his way to the surface and he flagged down Josiah, who boated over to him. He pulled him back into the boat, and Michael, who was totally traumatized by what happened, could only say to Josiah that he was inside of it and that it tried to eat him. Michael was rushed to a hospital where he was evaluated, and unbelievably, he suffered really no injury. Michael was incredibly casual in all of his interviews about this. He just kind of acted like, nah, these things kind of happen, you know, whales come out of nowhere, they just scoop you up, you know, it happens. And he would tell the incredulous reporters who just could not believe this guy was real that as soon as he was better, he was getting back in the water and going lobster diving.
Man, that dude was so lucky, bro. He got swallowed by a whale. That's an incredible story. He's lucky the whale spit him back out. That kind of reminded me of like that one Bible story. Was it Jonah? I think that got swallowed by the whale or something like that.
This man received a vision from God that the world will end in a matter of weeks. And he is trying to save us all by building an ark. Bro, and if he is right, we have not learned from the first time, because people are trolling him hard in the comments. Yubo Noah was told by God to build a number of boats to save people from the flood 2.0, which he was told would happen on December the 25th this year. And months later, he has now built 8 arks. That includes 250,000 panels of wood and is capable of holding 5,000 people each. Now, fortunately, there is some hope for us that don't live in Ghana, because Yubo Noah said that anyone from around the world can come and join him as long as they have a covenant with God. In fact, he says that one of his arks will be able to hold 600 million people. Don't ask about the math, okay? Bro's a builder, not a calculator. Now, this has divided some people online. Some people admire his faith, and he now has 200,000 followers on TikTok, while others are trolling him pretty hard, asking him to do things like install sockets to charge their phones. And I mean, we all know how that ended last time. So the question is, are we all meeting in Ghana this Christmas, or?
I think they said he built 3, which is insane. So if he actually built 3 arks, that's crazy. But I think bro forgot that we have like airplanes and helicopters and stuff now. So if a flood really does happen, just hop in the airplane, hop in the helicopter, wait it out.
Thank you all for watching this here video.